You're not bullish enough. You gotta think outside the box on this. You gotta see it. Not a whole Bitcoin. 0.01 Bitcoin. $2 million, people. And you can get it for $600. What if I told you that you are not bullish enough, not just on Bitcoin, but on 0.01 Bitcoin? I can't tell you how stoked I am, because I was just doing some napkin math. I got so hyped. I had to make this video. I had to, because you don't understand how not bullish enough you are. Just watch. Just bear with me for a minute. So I'm talking about 0.01 Bitcoin because it's very attainable right now for like anybody, literally anybody. You can get 0.01 Bitcoin for $635, okay? Like right now, you can get that, okay? 0.01 Bitcoin. That's really affordable, right? But here's the thing. With Bitcoin, no amount is too small, right? Because we have to look long term. People are very quick to look short term, within a month, a year, 2 years even. But I gotta tell you, you can't look less than 4 years. You can't. You gotta think outside the box. You gotta think your future. You gotta think true generational wealth. You have to understand where Bitcoin is going, and it's not gonna stop. It's going to keep going. Like what it's been doing, it's gonna keep going. You have to think that way. So watch this. I wanted to just ask a few questions to myself. One, what will 0.01 Bitcoin be worth in 20 years? 20 years, okay? Two, I wanted to think about what it can do in 20 years. So not just the price it'll have, but how much will that matter then, okay? And three, I wanted to apply that to today to see what its real life value is right now that it is severely underpriced from, okay? All right? Because a lot of people have pointed out Bitcoin is underpriced right now. You think it's underpriced? You're gonna think it's underpriced. Look at this. Look. Okay, so we got 20 years. All right, 20 years. How are we gonna figure that out? Dummy simple math. Watch this. Look in the past. The last 10 years, okay? The last 10 years of Bitcoin, it has gone from $400 to $60,000. Sorry, my stumpy fingers are in the way. But do you understand that in 2014, Bitcoin was bouncing around $400. Now in the year 2024, we're bouncing around $60,000 per coin. That is an increase of there it goes. That is an increase of 150x, okay? 150x. That's huge, for one. But that's what Bitcoin like kind of keeps doing. It's compounding on itself, right? Okay. I know that, and you should know this too, that past performance is never a guarantee of future outcome, okay? You have to remember that. Also, you have to remember, like, by the way, this is not financial advice, but you have to remember that it's all risky. You don't know what's going to happen to your money if you put it into Bitcoin. But you can really kind of figure it out. I mean, look at this. So if we're going to say that over the last 10 years, Bitcoin's price increased 150x, well, what if we just think, okay, what if it does that for the next 10 years? Well, next 10 years, I mean, that would mean we take $60,000 and multiply it by 150, and you get $9 million. That's crazy. Per coin. But here's the thing, that's only 10 years. I want to do 20 years. So you multiply by 150 again, and you get... Hold on, I'll make sure I'm showing you the right stuff first. So you get... Oh, $1,350,000,000. Are you kidding me? In 20 years, one coin will be $1.35 billion. Now watch this, because this is where it gets really crazy, okay? And by the way, do I know that's going to happen? No, I don't know that's going to happen. But 20 years is a long time. Anything's possible. And if we're looking at the trends, and if it really is truly an S curve that's just going to shoot up like a rocket, it really can do that. But now watch this. We're not talking about a whole Bitcoin, right? We're talking about 0.01. Well, 0.01 Bitcoin in 20 years could then be valued at $13.5 million. $13.5 million. How much did I say you could get 0.01 Bitcoin for right now? Are you putting this together that if you invest $600 properly right now, you could be a decamillionaire in 20 years? Okay. But it gets better. Oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets better. Because watch this. I wanted to know what it was going to be priced at in 20 years, okay? Roughly $13.5 million. That's amazing. That's amazing. But we have to remember, and actually I got to tell you, let's grab the reins and rein in the bull, okay? Because we have to remember something. Inflation is a thing, right? Inflation's a nasty thing. Which means that everything goes up in price. So although you'll have $13.5 million worth of Bitcoin, and if you end up exchanging it for cash or whatever, or you know, getting loans and using your Bitcoin as collateral, whatever, it's not going to buy as much as you think. Because $13.5 million in 20 years ain't going to buy what it buys right now. I mean, look at how, like, everybody wants to get $1 million. But $1 million doesn't buy today what it used to. In fact, if you haven't really picked up on it, the goal isn't to get to $1 million anymore. Everybody wants to be a decamillionaire. Like, that's the goal now. Because that's what it takes to live a comfy life. If you're a millionaire, you're not actually living comfy yet. Which is crazy. But that's kind of where it is. So anyway, so we have to understand the economy in the future. And in order to do that, we got to figure out, well, costs. But I didn't want to do this crazy in-depth study. This is all just rough estimate, whatever. I told you, dummy simple math. So, how can you tell how wealthy you are in an economy? Well, most people would say, how big's your house? Right? But in this case, instead of asking how big is your house, let's just ask, are you able to buy a normal home? Because right now, nobody can afford to buy a regular priced home right now. Because a normal home, this is what I'm going to say, like a normal home, it's nice, it's got what you need, it's kind of pretty, but you know, it's not a mansion, you know, it's good for family, whatever. I'd say $350,000. That's what I would say is, you know, that's what I think you can get a decent home with, right? In America. I think that $350,000, that's fair. $400,000, maybe, you know, whatever. But $350,000, I think that's like what you would need. And nobody has that right now. Nobody has $350,000 laying around. I mean, some people do, yes, but like, they're not going to buy a $350,000 home. They're the ones living in the mansions. So anyway, how much do you think a $350,000 home will be worth, or, you know, priced at in 20 years? Because inflation happens every year. So watch this. You have to think of inflation in smarter terms than what they say on the news. Okay, on the news, they tell you that they're trying to get inflation down to 2%, and that's at 4%. Okay, no. Look at the groceries in the store. Look at the prices of homes. We all know that inflation is way higher than that. Rough estimate, 10%. That's just, and it's probably even higher than that. But you know what? I'm okay with lowballing a little bit. But it's not 4%. It's not 2. No. It's 10% at least. Okay? That's inflation. Because that's the liquidity. That's the money that's getting printed. Okay? Well, that's 10% per year. So if I take that $350,000 and I increase it by 10% 20 times, and mind you, you can't just slap it all together. That means it increases by 10%, and then that amount increases by 10%, and then that amount increases by 10%. You understand? So when you do that for 20 years, do you know what you get? Well, inflation at a rate of 10% per year for the housing market, if it's that, and this is all dummy, stupid math. I'm not claiming to be right about this estimate at all. This is probably the weakest part, but just hear me out. That means a house in the year 2044 that's like $350,000 now could be priced at $2.3 million. That's a lot. That's a lot of money for just a normal house, okay? Like a normal house. Normal house. Except get this. How much did we just say 0.01 Bitcoin could be worth? 13.5 million. 2 million? 13 million. Are you piecing this together? That if you buy 0.01 Bitcoin now, in 20 years, you could literally buy a house without a home loan. Did that ever... This is why you gotta get excited about this. Like, was this ever, like, even conceivable to you? But guess what? There's more. Watch this. Okay, last thing. So I said that I wanted to find out what was 0.01 Bitcoin to be priced at. I wanted to find out, was that going to be, like, good? Is that going to, like, actually get you something in that economy? But now I want to know, based on what it would do in the economy then, how valuable is it really now? Based on what it's going to do, how valuable is it now? How underpriced is 0.01 Bitcoin? Oh, you watch this. This is awesome. So I just said that it would take $2.3 million to get a house, but just a regular house, right? Well, that's 17% of what I just said the price of 0.01 Bitcoin would be, right? So watch this. If we come back to today, now we're dealing with a $350,000 house. Well, if the $350,000 house is 17%, that's only 17% of what 0.01 Bitcoin will be, or should say, can be perceived the value of. Well, then we need to find out what's the total. If 350,000, if that house is 17%, then 350,000 is also 17% of the true value of 0.01 Bitcoin for what it's going to do in 20 years. Again, this is what having foresight is all about. You see things differently. So watch this. All you have to do is divide 350,000 by 0.17 because you're going in reverse. You're saying, what is $350,000 17% of? My friends, it is 17% of $2 million and change. This number is not real. This is not a number that you can exchange for cash. That's not what this number is. This is a true value number. This is trying to understand how undervalued and underpriced 0.01 Bitcoin, not a whole Bitcoin, 0.01 Bitcoin. $2 million, people! And you can get it for $600! You're not bullish enough. Let the bulls go. Let the reins go. Get the bulls out of here. Oh my gosh, do you understand? You're not bullish enough. That's crazy. So, yeah, That's gonna happen, most likely. I mean, look, again, none of this is guaranteed. I'm not an expert. I'm not a financial advisor. Literally, like, none of this is guaranteed. Do with your money what you want to do. But I'm just saying, you gotta think outside the box on this. You gotta see it. You gotta see it and get excited about it. It's okay to get excited about a good future for you and your family, right? Like, that's okay. I'm not in the greatest, like, listen, I'm not in a bad place. But I'm not, I'm not living it like that. Like, I'm chilling, but I'm not living it like that. But I guess I will be. I mean, I guess, okay. All right. I'll take it. Like I said, let the reins go, let the bulls go running, because even just this bull run's going to be crazy. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows this bull run is going to be crazy. So if you have not gotten any big, what are you doing? What are you waiting for? Do you need a sign? This is your sign. This is for you. You're welcome. Listen, I don't know what you're waiting for. You need to go out there, get some Bitcoin, and stack some sats, because you need to do it right now.